Hello and welcome back to the Performance Racing League PRL for round 4 at Singapore. And you join us for a short qualifying session that I believe is cloudy, and then I'm pretty sure the race is going to be wet. But let me just confirm all of that for you. But I hope you're all doing really well today. And yeah, qualifying cloudy / dry, race light rain, but perhaps progressing to sort of cloudy dry. So it could be a bit of a crossover. Should be an interesting race. But welcome back to those of you who I've seen before on the stream, and hello and welcome to any new viewers. So just as the drivers make their way perhaps onto outlaps, Death Skull and Rusty, the first of those drivers to do so, let me take you through the Tier 1 standings. Gourd Sauce is currently leading. He's finished second and first, so a full house of podiums. I'm sure he'll be looking to cement his dominance going into round 4. Still early days though, of course. Singapore, a notoriously difficult track as well, can throw up some interesting races. Finsick, who missed the first race, is actually in second place. So a first and a third place helped achieve that. Great stuff from him. Noob, shout out to Noob, is currently in third place. And then we've got Viking Side and Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean with rapid pace, but did DNF the last 2. So he's in 5th purely from a win in Belgium in the fastest lap, which is very impressive. We can run through some of the other order another time, but let's just get on board with Death Skull and take a little look at a flying lap, hopefully pretty soon. A lot of new drivers and a very nice 16 player grid today, which is always good to see. Anyone watching, if you would like to take part, I think there is a link to the Discord in the description, and you should be able to sign up and join. There's always a few spaces presently. Almost looks like a race going on here between Death Skull and one of the Red Bulls, but they've paced themselves out now. And only Dr. J and Joe are doing sort of side laps on the medium. Everyone out straight onto the soft tyre. So let's run you through this flying lap with Death Skull in the Ferrari, trying to make a good impression here, new to PRL. Turn number 1 tries to attack that curve, to sort of straight line this section. A bit of trail braking on exit, trying to run as wide as you can normally there. Then you've got this quite sort of deceptively difficult right-hander where you don't want to attack the curve necessarily too much. And yeah, an invalidation unfortunately for Death Skull. So let's jump on board with the aforementioned Red Bull of Zlatomski. I think he's also new to PRL, so welcome to the league. Whoa, slightly misses the apex but carries a lot of speed, good traction, and we're now down onto the first DRS zone. This actually ends, I believe, with the start of Sector 2, so 26.7 so far. Let's hope. Oh no, I can't tell if the Haas is on a hot lap or not. I think the Haas is, you know. Yeah, I think it's one of those unfortunate circumstances where, you know, the driver's on a hot lap, but the Red Bull just so much more on it at this stage of the session. So I think he's correctly sort of abandoned that lap, and he'll regroup and go again. But in the meantime, we do have this Purgic Moss, I think that's how you pronounce his name, currently setting some sort of hot lap. But yeah, always good to try and space yourself out around Singapore. Notoriously difficult actually to find room, so at least it's a 16 player lobby rather than 20. Meanwhile, Martin sets a 1:28.3, currently provisional pole, but I'm sure there'll be some quicker laps. Joe proving that on the medium tyre, in fact, with 1:28.2. And yeah, Purgic Moss a little bit off the pace at this stage, it has to be said. So let's ride on board with Marchena. He's currently gone purple in Sector 1. Very rapid driver on his day. Seen some good races by him, some good recovery drives as well. This left-hander now so much easier than it used to be. It used to be almost a sort of a mini chicaning section, very narrow. I think these modern cars are just too wide for that, so they sensibly turned it into a simple left-hander. And this left-hand hairpin is actually surprisingly difficult. It's kind of a semi-hairpin, but yeah, there's a couple of different lines you can take there, and it can be an overtaking opportunity in the race. Very close to track limits for Marchena, but he's okay. Progresses on into Sector 3 now. and it's just got sort of a double left-hander left, which is actually surprisingly difficult to hook up. And a 128.9, and 4th place so far. Good stuff from Marchena. So let's see if we can find Zlatomski, because we did leave him hanging there with his earlier lap. So this is his new hot lap attempt. He's approaching another DRS zone. As I say, this can be quite a good overtaking place, either through that left-hander or if not down here into this right-hander. A very difficult track to link up in qualifying. Very rare does a driver actually get every single corner spot on, even in real life. Oh, a little bit of a moment on those really devastating curves there. A good recovery, good save by Zlatomski, and actually still carries a lot of speed, and a 128.5. Oh, whoa! I don't know what happened there, but I just saw a I think it was the Red Bull of, yeah, Zlatomski just ran really wide and almost hit the Ferrari. So no idea what went on there. That was very odd. Oh, okay. Alright, Def Skull has invalidated, because I thought he got blocked there, but I think yeah, I'm guessing his lap was invalidated beforehand, so no idea what went on there. Dr. J just coming up to his second hot lap attempt, but I think it's more of a sighter at this point on those mediums, so he'll probably go into the pits at the end of that lap now. That's not on a flying lap. Marchena, of course, not on a flying lap. Let's try and find a driver that is. Finsick 1.8 down, so I think most drivers now go into their sort of in-lap phase. Joe, though, actually, somehow he is quicker. A bit of a struggle on exits, I think he will go into the pit, but he was able to set a very consistent lap time, even on his in-lap on mediums. So maybe an early front runner here. I noticed Broadsource is yet to set a time, and we've caught him at the right time in Sector 1. Let's ride on board. Gortos with a Ferrari quite close behind. Yeah, he's invalidated, apologies. I had a drink and look what happens just in the space of a few seconds. So he'll have to regroup. 10 minutes left in this session, this single qualifying session for round 4 of PRL. And for anyone new to the stream, welcome. To those returning, thank you very much for coming back. Always happy to chat. Please leave any comments if you'd like to. Anything you want, an understanding of, just let me know. Standings, point scoring. If you want to take part in the league, check the description or give me a shout. Wow, look at the smoke at the back of the car since this new patch. I mean, is it a patch? If it makes the game worse, is it a patch? Is it just a bug release? I don't know. I'm just glad that I'm not a part of that team. I work in software, so I feel like I can get away with saying that, but I wouldn't be too happy if I released that. Rusty, he's on his second flying lap, and he's pretty much matching his pace so far. Mysterious disqualified for facing the wrong way. I wonder if he spun out and then tried to get back on the track by going backwards for too long. I know that's the sort of thing that everyone does once, and then usually never again. But the game can be quite strict, especially if it's around the pit lane. That's unfortunate. But anyway, Rusty, of course, in the kick Sauber. Let's see how his Sector 2's looking. It's quite hard to tell how quick this is, in all honesty. Yeah, 3 temps up, and actually a purple Sector 2. You know, sometimes smooth and steady is the quickest way. Those that are older maybe remember Jensen Button. He kind of proved that one. As long as you're happy with the car, though, that's the problem. You've got to be 100% confident for that sort of driving style. It's a good documentary on Raw GP on Amazon for anyone that's interested. 129.5. Great lap time. P8 so far. So Gourd Source now, is this his flying lap? I think it is. I mean, he's gone green for Sector 2. So certainly his fastest so far. Gordsource, our current championship leader, so there is a bit of context around this. Definitely a driver to watch. And a 1:27.7, and you could have seen that coming, I suppose. Interestingly, Finsick, Gord, they're up there in the fight, as is Noob. So already our sort of potential championship protagonists are already prevailing towards the start of this session, but a long way to go. Viking side in the Haas. I'm guessing I think it might be Martin. I think that's because there's a database I'm referring to, and sometimes the names don't quite match up between what you see on F1 and what we have. But I believe Martin is currently in P4 in the championship, and he's come 3rd, 14th, and 5th. So certainly has good pace. And I think the 14th was actually down to a bit of bad luck from memory. So let's see what he has in the tank. Of course, not on that lap. It should be this one here that he's now on. Although quite a low battery to start on. I think you could get away with it, but I mean, of course, in an ideal world, you want 100%. You want to bang that overtake button. Let's probably word that a little bit differently, but you know what I mean. Looks nice and controlled. So using overtake and then back down to hot lap once it's got a bit more speed in 7th gear. So he'll be managing that battery all the way through. Keep an eye on that. That's on the bottom, sort of the bottom middle, towards the left on that display. Oh, a little bit of a sort of a squirrely moment on exit, but it doesn't cost you that much time as long as you get your foot down and then just ease off a little bit and then straight back down, which is what he did. Really throwing the car into this section. There's a lot of grip. Early upshifts into 5th there, and then tries to take a very nice wide entry into that left-hander. That's what I like to do as well. And really, really clean on throttle. You think you're almost watching an AI. It's very smooth and nice. The slightest of lockups and then running perfectly along that white line. So that's not the track limits. Again, nice and smooth and controlled by Martin in the Haas. Then attacks the curb late, which is great because then it opens up this bit and you can then sort of straight line it. Hangs it out really nice and wide. And fins it with a 1:26.9, currently provisional pole, but this is a good lap as well, 1:27.7. So apologies for missing Finsick's lap, but Martin's was almost as good. Certainly potential there, but Finsick making an early break for it with 5 minutes to go, so he's looking like the one to beat so far. Hey Jesper. Yeah, the yellow flag widget isn't having a good time, yeah. Do you know what? I've become desensitized to it. I don't notice it anymore. The one that's even worse is when you're in the race and there's a VSC into a safety car, and then on like the commentator's display it shows as VSC the whole time, even though you can literally see the safety car. So yeah, some crazy stuff sometimes. I think Tyhill's going into the pit. So a lot of drivers going into the pit just to get one last flying lap out of the way, because this is about the last time you would want to be entering the pits. And Noobs, interestingly, has 0% battery. Okay, so it was setting a lap, my apologies. So yeah, 1:28.0. The question is, can he get back and set a lap? I think he can. He's just got to rush straight in and straight out and he'll be okay. Let me just check some of the comments live from the paddock. I was disqualified even though I spun. I couldn't move, otherwise I would disturb the 3 people who were arriving in their turn. Mysterious. Wow, so Jesper is currently in the paddock. He's annoying the hell out of the drivers, interviewing all of them. And wow, that is some bad luck for Mysterious, I have to say. Commiserations to him. But his loss perhaps will be other drivers' gains. I mean, at least in the case of Mysterious, it's 16th, it could be 20th, right? So Tomsky really running that car out wide, almost turning into the wall. Oof! I thought he was going to tag that right-hander element, which is what Lando Norris notoriously did in the race this season. And of course George Russell did a little bit to worse effect, I think, the year before. Bashing up against the inside curb is Tomsky. He's trying to get everything out of this lap. He's in a bit of an interesting position with 3 minutes to go, because if he's not happy with this lap, he needs to abandon it, get into the pits and try again. But I have a sneaking suspicion he's going to bank this one. 3/10 improved, looking very rapid. Could be enough perhaps for a P5. I'm guessing he'll be aiming for a 1:27. Looks good, looks fast. Through this last section, you can lose some lap time through there. but looked nice and tidy. 1:27.8, and yeah, P5. Called that one. Good lap time. I think that will be it for Satomsky, unless he's got the fuel to regroup and set one more, but I doubt it with those tyres. So we've got Rusty just beginning a hot lap, but let me just try and take a look up the order. So Gord Source is only one temp improved. He'll be wanting to do a bit better than that, I would say. I wonder if he will actually push with this lap, or if he'll regroup for one more. So far, it looks like this is the one for him. I do worry for him about this traffic. Is this already abandoned lap time? I think it is, mate. I think he needs to switch that battery straight off. Oh my goodness me. That is, yeah. I mean... Oh no. Yeah. Sorry, I've just got to stay on board and see what happens. I don't want to watch this, but it's only for the sake of reporting. Alright, back up to speed he goes, he's regrouped. Yeah, sorry, I just got to stay on board. Apologies, everyone. So we've got Gord Source in second, 1:27.7. And then we've got Finsick on an outlap. So I promise you all, I will flick over to these drivers when the time's right. And that time, I think, is now. So we've got Finsick on an outlap in sector 1. Gord Source now really attacking. This is his moment. And we've got Martin approaching his hot lap. So let's try and track as many of these drivers as we possibly can. 2 temps improved by Gord Source. This is good pace. Rusty has spun out somewhere on the track in sector 3, I believe. But I can't quite tell. I wasn't keeping track, but I did see a yellow in sector 3. Either way, he is out of the session with a 1:29.5. That is all we're going to see from him today. But we've got a good show on display between Finsick, Gord Source, Martin, and perhaps even Joe. Don't forget, setting rapid pace on the mediums, so we know he's got good pace on the soft, surely. Don't count out Hoop, don't count out Noob. And Bats, I don't think I've even shown him so far this session, but always has a good lap time in him. Gord Source now 4.5 temps up. This is good. Good stuff from Gord. I think it's going to be a very, very close qualifying session, assuming Finsick can't improve even more. Gord Source trying to really attack the first curb, watches out for the second one. He knows how much that upsets the car. He's going to throw it into these last 2 corners. And he's going to set... Oh, he just misses out a 1:27.0. He'll be kicking himself there because he would love to have put pressure on Finsick to have to improve. You know, even just to go 1,000th up on Finsick, that would have been ideal. But not to be. Martin, though, has set excuse me, a purple sector 2, as I cough to death, into sector 3's chicane, this sort of bus stop style chicane. Oh no, he may have ruined the lap there. That's not ideal. Not an ideal way to exit that corner. And this is a deceptively quite long straight, so you do lose a lot of lap time there. Ah, that's a shame. 1:27.7. Oh wow, I mean, Joe is 2 temps up. It's not looking ideal, is it? Not looking ideal for everyone except for Finsick. Let's see what his sector 2 looks like. Let's see if we want to ride on board for a flying hot lap. In fact, let me go back to Joe for a second. So Joe is 2 temps up, so we'll follow Finsick and Joe to the line. Well, Finsick is showing off at this point. I think we've just got to stay on board to appreciate how incredibly fast this driver is. Not a driver I've watched too much in my time, but I mean, the stats do not lie. This guy is a real championship contender, and I'm sure Gord Source is going to have his work cut out in this race. Wonder how the setups are, though, between these drivers. A 1:26.6. Wow, that is probably your pole lap. And Joe, apologies for missing some of that, but a 1:27.2, that does put him up into P3. So that early pace he showed on the medium has translated into good soft pace. Dr. J, can he jump up into 12th? Not quite. 1:29.9, but a good lap, gets within the 1:30 mark, or lower than 1:30, so that's good stuff. And as expected, Gord Source is now going into the pit and will finish off this session. Good lap times though. Finsick clearly the one to beat. And what I was going to touch on is the setups, because I'm hearing that there is going to be rain in the race. So there could be question marks of who's running a wet setup. Although, to be honest, with Singapore, you tend to run such high downforce anyway. that it's not as big of a deal as, say, a track like maybe Silverstone, or say, let's take an extreme case of Monza. But anyway, a great session, some good driving there, great lap times. I will go through the chat in a second. Thanks everyone for messaging in that. But let's just first of all take you through the qualifying order. Finsick takes pole position with a 126.6. Gord in second with a 127. Very close, but no cigar there. Joe Bedomi in third place in the McLaren. Great stuff. Martin in fourth. Latomsky, welcome to PRL and congratulations on fifth. Hoop in sixth. Noob seventh. Bats eighth. Marchain in ninth. Butler 10th. Rusty, Tar Heels, Dr. J, Virgic Moss, and then Death Skull and Mysterious in 15th and 16th. Unfortunately, did not set a lap time. Good session. Let me go through the chat. Thanks, Jesper, and welcome, Ramsey. Yep, you could race if you want to, Ramsey, at some point. Oh, okay, yep, Virgic Moss there, admitting that he got caught up. Yep, I did see the incident, Gord, so I did see that you had to back out, and the clashing of wheels was a little bit unfortunate. Let's just say that. It happens, you know. It just, as long as people admit their mistakes and move on. I mean, it is just a game, right? It's not like it really affected Gord Source too much, I would say, based on the hot lap I then saw afterwards. But it probably is a penalty, let's be honest, to Virgic Moss. I can't remember what the penalty is nowadays. Some slight concern because I've seen 2 drivers leave this session. So do we have a glitched lobby? Jesper, my man in the paddock. Is that the case? Seems like only 2 drivers are out, but I think the race is still going on. 5 lights. And away we go. A few goes to drivers, but we're going in now. Finset with an okay start, but I think Gordsource might be able to get alongside. 3 or 4 cars abreast, as always, almost into turn 1. But so far we're okay. Finset having to run a little bit wide. Gordsource putting that pressure on, but Joe Bedomi's trying to run around the outside potentially, but has to sort of settle into third place. And he's now going to defend a little bit against that Haas as the Red Bull of Zatomsky is going on an absolute mission. And he runs past Martin and takes 4th position. Great stuff. Love to see it. Let's just take a quick look at the tyres. And you can see that there's spots of rain to everyone on the intermediate, as we alluded to in the interval. Oh, the Haas of Martin running very, very weirdly there on exit. Just squirreled out. And Noob says thank you very much. Slightly harsh, actually, to be honest, on shutting the door there. But nonetheless gets the place into P5. And we have Marchaina at one point very close. Yeah, very close to Rusty. And I think that move was almost inevitable at that point. Nice to control the car through there. And commiserations to Hoop. His car's ghosted, so he's not been able to reconnect yet. They weren't able to quite pause the session. Death Skull has DNF'd, which is very unfortunate. I thought he DNF'd as well, so I'm not sure if what has gone on there. But yeah, commiserations to those two, but the race continues with at least 15 runners now. Oh man, Hoop, sorry to hear that. So yeah, our man Jesper in the paddock, he has managed to catch Hoop, well, Hoop's team manager. I wonder if he'll be able to get going again. It looks like he hasn't been able to yet because he's still ghosted. That's a shame. Anyway, back up to the fight currently for third place between Joe and Zlatomsky. And actually, let's jump to Marchaina. Marchaina's actually showing great pace, and Martin not quite where he wants to be. I think after this next section, we can take you through the order. I mean, Mysterious making up crazy ground already, so we know he's certainly up. But let's take a little look. No penalties, of course, yet. So yeah, Mysterious up 6. Incredible scenes. Martin, as I kind of showed before, not doing so well, down 3. And then Zlatomsky made the great move on Noob. At the expense of course, Noob, but also I think Bats as well, getting up past at least Martin, and I'm guessing Hoop as well. So some good racing so far. It's nice and tight at least, and I mean, being on Inters, there is no DRS, and it can get a little bit spaced out sometimes. But it's a really difficult track, so you know, no shame in falling back a little bit on this one. Looks like an auto ready up by the game. Oh, that's a shame. Couldn't have picked a worse moment for that to happen. Wow, Mysterious is trying to burn up the rears, those Inter and rears. Wow, that is, yeah, didn't quite get the power down in the way he would have wanted. Rusty being nice and smooth with the other hand. But Mysterious clearly has pace. You've got to be a little bit careful, actually. 31 laps. Although, the weatherman does tell me that it should be progressing to dry. So maybe you can be just ultra aggressive on these Inters and just switch to a medium tyre towards the end of the race. But let's see what can happen. Or what will happen. Finsick has already broken away by almost 2 seconds, but Joe is just about around the 1 second mark behind Gord. So Tomsky is the one that's putting pressure on. You can see just from his corner entry there, wow, that he is pushing. And one thing I've noticed with this guy, or girl, I don't actually know this person, is that they are very, very good at throwing the car into corners and controlling it. So I think the Red Bull definitely is sort of his like spirit car, so to speak. He definitely suits that machine. And he's definitely showing good pace. Looks to be quicker than Joe at this point. Joe and Martin. Martin's struggling on these Inters, so maybe he did use a setup that perhaps works a lot better on the dry tyre. I'm not entirely sure. But either way, just not looking as quick as he was now that it's slightly wet on track. Hooper's DNF'd. Oh no, so I don't know if that was him trying to join in to the session. I'm really not entirely sure what happened. But commiserations to him for his, well, it's just a real shame when you've done all the qualifying and then you don't even get to race. Oh, but to be honest though, I do see Fjordjik Moss is wingless, so I have no idea if there's anything to do with that. Maybe Jesper, that's one for you to investigate. What happened to Fjordjik Moss there with no wing? Was it just a mistake? Either way, it has caused a safety car, which I have to say, I don't know. I didn't see what happened. That's a real shame, of course, for Finsick, who had broken away at almost 3 seconds, I believe, perhaps more, at the point the SE was called. So that's really tragic, to be honest with you. But he can regroup and just look after those tyres, and he should catch the safety car any moment now. Don't expect anyone to pit at this stage unless they, of course, have a bit of wing damage. What is... okay, we'll have to play that one back. I did catch Fjordjik Moss. As I went onto his POV. I can't comment on what happened, other than it looked like, but what it looked like was he'd reset and then reversed into a wall. But I'm not saying that's what actually happened, because this game is notorious for weird events. But maybe that's one that he maybe asked to provide footage for. Just a little pointer there, maybe, because that is insane. The only good thing is it doesn't actually affect the session. The safety car's out. It's not going to prolong the safety car. So if you're going to pick a moment to do whatever that was, whether it was him or the game, I mean, that was probably a good opportunity. Sometimes a bit of a disappointing correlation between a driver losing the front wing and DNFing, but again, the game is also known to be extremely glitchy, so you can never really tell anything anymore. Maybe another one for Jesper to follow up on. Let me go through the chat, because Jesper's doing a great job and I'm ignoring him. So yeah, Jesper's saying they should all be on a dry setup and it'll be sketchy. So yeah, maybe Martin is on more of a dry setup though than others. It's I don't know how long the track will be on Inters for, but it does already look a lot drier, doesn't it, everyone? If you can pay attention to my chainers on board, it's looking quite dry. It's looking like if a driver had gambled onto the dry tyre, I'm sort of foreshadowing here, then maybe they would have just put themselves in perhaps an absolutely incredible race-winning position. And it looks like Butler and Dr. J may have made a great call. Mysterious is on the wet tyre. I'm not entirely sure. what is going on there. That's a real shame. But not the end of the world, because I'm assuming, that everyone is going to now jump into the pits. So absolute pandemonium in the pit lane, as you'd expect. Everyone going in, putting on hards or mediums. Probably hard is the sensible choice right now of the soft compound, medium compound, and hard compound. Oh my word! I have never seen anything like that. Oh, what is going on? This is so odd. I don't know what I'm watching today. Just some odd driving. I mean, it's new drivers. I don't know everyone so well, but I don't know if his wheel collapsed or something. Tom keeps having an incredible race, but he's going to have to go back into the box, and he will come out dead last. And actually, the safety car could well come in this lap if he's a bit unfortunate. Maybe he's lucky and it comes in the next lap. But as it stands, the interesting thing here is that Butler is now in P4, having pit earlier than everyone else. Dr. J didn't win as much as you would hope, but I mean that is partly because of the delta time. So when the safety car comes out, there's a delta you have to stick to, so it's not always quite as big an advantage. I have to say I thought Dr. J would have jumped up more. But yeah, for Butler it worked, up 6. So proof that if you read the conditions and you make a good call, it really can translate into success. Oh no, so Hoop went to quit to the main menu. He looked up and his car was in the wall. So that was him just trying to sort of rejoin the session after his disconnect issues. I mean, Hoop, if you want to jump on comms, I'm sorry, I've only just seen your message, mate. If you want to jump, just let me know. Just message privately or message in here and I'll invite you. Did someone just say Finn stayed out? Oh my word, I'm really sorry, chat. I actually missed that completely. I think Jesper should be getting a pay rise. But I mean, so Finsek's in last. Or maybe second or third last. But he will be... Wait, what? Oh no, what has happened here with this game? Oh no, he's been disqualified for ignoring yellow flags because he was trying to go into the pits. What is going on? Oh no. Oh man, I'm so sorry for Finsik there. That is devastating. Look at the way it parks up with the shitty smoke as well. It's just so shit, isn't it? So bad. So bad, I should say. Naughty game. Bad game. We can't say anything bad. We can't swear on the stream. That is awful. I'm so sorry, Finsik. Don't worry about the championship, because if anything, it just proves it's kind of meaningless with this game. If you're trying to get your hopes up on winning a championship and that's what happens to you, I mean, yeah, look at it as a moral victory. But I'm so sorry, but Finsik, I did catch it on the stream, so everyone will understand that it wasn't your fault at all. And it now makes me even more concerned that what we saw with Mysterious earlier was probably the game as well, let's be honest. So what we found is everyone now is on to a dry set of tyres, mostly on the hards, three drivers on the mediums. Hoop had the misfortune of bad connectivity and then a bit of an incident, I think, when he was sort of in the menu. But the good news for everyone is it does mean he is now on the comms. So welcome, Hoop. Sorry about your race.
Yeah, this is a completely normal race, isn't it? Just absolutely nothing notable has happened at all in the first 5 laps.
Yeah, just standard fare. My voice is already so sore. Moss on his DNF, something got stuck in the left trigger of my controller, forcing it to stick fully down, and because I have auto shifting, it forced me into reverse and I couldn't stop. Okay, so yeah, that does explain the weird things that were going on. Wow, that is crazy. The only person now that we don't have the missing piece of the puzzle for is, I think, Slatomsky. As he came out of the pit, just completely deviated to the right, and almost then, I think, crashed out and then spun and lost his wing, I want to say. So had to go back into the pits. But anyway, we're approaching the safety car restart, and Gordsource has already gone for it. A nice clean restart by the Mercedes driver. But Joe's in a bit of trouble. Joe is in trouble here. Will go for the move. He will. Oh my word, pardon the pun. Oh no! He ran a little bit too wide. I mean, there was nowhere for Joe to go other than off the track, and he couldn't do it. And Will made contact, span into the wall, and surely that's a safety car. It's a VSC. And I think Mysterious, did he get the move done in time, or does he need to concede the place? Same with Slatomsky as well. Let's see if they sort themselves out. So no, it looks like all stand. No, yeah. Mysterious had to give the place back. Okay, VSC hoop. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay, all things considered. I thought there was like a huge lobby issue on my end because the game readied up immediately as I was picking my strategy, and then suddenly it said there weren't enough players in the lobby, and it sent me back to the main menu. So I don't know what happened there.
Oh man, sorry about that.
It may save me from 55 minutes of driving on Singapore, but I was prepared to do that anyway.
Well, it's nice to have company, so there's always a silver lining, I guess. I guess the next question is, I wonder if any of these drivers will get a penalty for exceeding the delta in the VSC, because I've seen that quite a few times here. Oh, the question's already answered itself, none.
I think they got away with it this time.
Yeah. Marchena almost capitalised there and almost got past Bats, but good defending from Bats, nice clean driving, and he maintains fourth. DRS, of course, now already re-enabled. And I think Noob is in the fight perhaps for second.
And Gord has already disappeared. He got a fantastic jump once again, and 2 seconds up the road from anybody else.
Yeah. Just seeing Frederick Moss's comment. If it is your final race, then all the best to you, my friend. And perhaps we'll see you soon. Slatomsky is going, I think, around the outside of Rusty. Yep, nice move there. So Rusty went defensive, but Slatomsky didn't matter to him at all. Just brake late, went around the outside. Good move into P7. Does have a time penalty though. Oh, okay. I was going to say 3 seconds, and then I missed the 2 before. That's a problem.
I think he picked up one under the VSC as well. Something about ignoring yellow flags, so another 10 seconds from the last time we saw that.
Yeah. Definitely something strange happened when he left the pits. I don't know. But... All right, Martin looking to perhaps make a move into P5 on Marchena. He's going to have to size it up for now. And everyone's going to have to put up with this lovely bluey grey smoke. Gord Source sets the fastest lap, but Noob immediately replies. So Noob is trying to reel Gord Source in, which is great for the prospects of this race. Commiserations, Butler. Yeah, that was it was a shame, you know. These things happen when you go for a move. Definitely the move was on, wasn't it? 100% the move was on. So hard to get the braking right there. Don't think there's anywhere Joe could have really gone. But at the end of the day, I think I would have gone for the move as well. So it's just racing, isn't it? Oh! Bats and Marchena clipping a little bit. Does that open the door to Slatomsky? I think it does. And will things go from bad to worse? For Bats, no. He then closes off Martin, so falls into P6. That's okay. Lap 9 of 31. Red Bull boss owner has declined to speak on what happened to Slatomsky so far. Sounds about right. Oh, Bats has to be careful. So Martin does get past. A very opportunistic move, but will he then get re-overtaken? No. Good bit of wheel-to-wheel racing, though. Good instincts from Martin. Saw that Bats made a little mistake. And I think Bats needs to just regroup a little bit now and try and get back into this train. Joe, meanwhile, is very close to Noob, challenging for P2.
It looks like Noob reeling in Gord by, I don't know, it's maybe 3/10, 4/10 that lap. So eventually we'll be in DRS, probably next time by.
Ooh, yeah. We'd love to see it. We'd love to see Morris in that chat. He'd definitely shake things up in PRL. Bit of drama in the league, in a good way though. For those that don't know, Morris was in PRL for a long time and was consistently a championship contender. Looks like he left, but he wants to come back. He couldn't leave us for too long. So Tomsky is clearly very fast. He looked good in qualifying. He's just made the move past Marchena. And actually he's showing some very good will-to-will racing and a good mindset because, yes, he's got the crazy penalty, but he is looking sharp and he's still racing, so fair play to him.
Morris, if all it took was 5 insane laps at Singapore where we don't understand what's going on to get you back in the league, then maybe we should have done this sooner.
Yeah, Morris, don't watch the first 5 laps if you missed them.
Replay starts at lap 7 if you go on YouTube.
I reckon we just put a picture of like a clown dancing for the first sort of 5 minutes, just as an overlay. So I'm riding on board with Tar Heels, trying to give a little bit of coverage to the lower drivers. I'm monitoring though as well Martin in P6. I mean, everything's slightly steadying, but it's only lap 11 of 31. I mean, there's slight differences on tyres, so the medium runners are in 2nd through 4th. Gordstaw's doing very well on the hard tyres, he'll be very happy. I'm not entirely sure if the hard tyre can make it the full distance. I know they last quite a long time. In the meantime, though, sorry, apologies, the Tar Heels did get the move done on Rusty. Sorry, go on.
I do think the hards can get to the end from, what was that, lap 5?
Yeah, was lap 5.
Yeah, it should get there. Probably, it'll feel a little rough, probably in the 40%, 50% range, but I think the hard runners won't need to stop again if there isn't another safety car.
Good insights there from Hoop as always, thank you. And that then means the medium runners could be in a bit of jeopardy come the end, because I'm sure the mediums won't last.
Yeah, I guess for them, they're banking on another safety car.
Yeah, not the worst play though to make, really. Perhaps trying to make the move, potentially, well, sizing it up, trying to drive through the smoke. Very difficult to make a move around here though. Normally you're lining this up all the way through for the first DRS zone of the new lap. So not this DRS zone, but the first Sector 1 zone. But you know what? Martin's actually really close to Marchena. Marchena needs to be a little bit careful. But maybe he will get saved actually by Bats and Martin continuing to fight. Maybe they should back off actually and try and take Marchena. Oh, Bats had a bit of a traction issue on exit, so I think it's kind of over for this lap. So then can Martin make the move? No. So Marchena lives to fight another day in the battle for 5th place. But it's shaping into a nice race. And actually, they are, like Marchena and his sort of cohort, they're closing in on Sotomsky. And I've just noticed Noob is ghosted. That is tragic.
I just sent him an invite, but yeah, just at the end of the last lap, he suddenly dropped like 4 or 5 tenths, and it just kept going. So possibly a connection issue there, and that's a shame because he was in a pretty good spot as he continues to go through this entire group.
Yeah, and thanks chat for explaining about the tyres as well. I'm not as clued up this year, to be honest. Yeah, so Noob loses all the places, but unfortunately, as Hoop said, disconnecting. We'll try and get him back in there. Everyone's done that quite cleanly though. I don't think it's caused any chaos at all, which is good. A little bit spaced out towards the back, but that does happen, and it's easy to make mistakes around here. Marchena, though, is currently now going from a position where he looked like he could maybe get swallowed up in the previous lap to suddenly looking like he's challenging for a podium. But I do think that Martin and Bats will have something to say towards the end of this race about that one. Wow, it's just a great driving from the Red Bull. Really, like, you could tell he was just trying to put as much power down as he could. It might not quite be enough, but it was a valiant effort. Or maybe it is enough. Oh, tight driving here, but then Sotomsky has the inside line into the right-hander, so yeah. Great defensive driving from Sotomsky. He just had that little bit more courage and speed through that right-hander. Made all the difference. I disagree with the comment, Ramsey, about Gord's lead being unassailable. I do actually completely disagree. Just because you saw Finsick. Finsick was the fastest driver around here. It's just the game screwed him over, but there's a lot of rounds. I can't remember how many rounds, but it's over 15. So that's a lot of rounds. We're only on round 4. So I don't think it's over at all. I would even go as far to say that if say Morris came back in from next week, was to say that would happen. Oh, and in the meantime, I speak, and it is going all wrong here. Martin tagging, I think being tagged or tagging someone, spins around, loses an end plate. That is really bad for him. Marchena dropping as well, I think got tangled up through that chicane. Hoop, did you see what happened there?
I thought I saw maybe a little bit of banging between Marchena and Zlotonsky. And then I guess it went side by side into that corner, and it all just kind of shuffled all the way back through that group, and I think Martin got the worst of it.
Oh, well, that's
typical Singapore things.
Yeah.
Singapore things.
Martin seems to be a bit of an incident magnet, and that's not me saying that he's to blame. I just mean that he always seems to somehow get bad luck, and things just seem to happen to him, because I've noticed that a few times. Definitely didn't look like there was anything bad going on there, just one of those things. Yeah, of course, Rusty getting past Noob, who's still yet to rejoin. That's a shame for the Ferrari driver. And Bats is hanging on in there. He's been playing the long game. He's missing an end plate. That's not ideal. Let's have a look at these drivers. So Zlotonsky did survive. So if he was in a tangle, he got the lucky end of it. Bats, though, is still looking strong, despite the end plate missing. Marchena's, oh yeah, as we said earlier, Marchena also missing an end plate. Ironically, the exact same end plate in the same place. And Martin's going to look to try and shape up a move on tar heels. And he's missing the opposite end plate. So 3 out of those 4 drivers did not come out too well from that incident. Mysterious also missing an end plate. No idea how that happened, but he is up into P9. Did have very good pace, to be fair to him, so I think play the long game. Anything can happen. All it takes really is a safety car.
Not a great place to be missing some front downforce, though.
At least it's an even fight, right? It's going to be a battle between the end plate missers.
Like now we get a little bit of an experiment. Which end plate do you want to have missing at Singapore?
Let's see how Martin does then, because yeah, he is the anomaly in this experiment. He's currently stuck behind Tar Heels, but he's within DRS range. Made a little mistake though through that section, and then you can notice he's really struggling with that left-hand turn, which of course compromises him down this DRS zone. So I don't think this is going to be the one. This is not going to be the place for him to make a move. But I'm on board with Bats because he has suddenly closed up rapidly with Zlotonsky. Not quite close enough for this chicane though, and I don't think after what he saw... Oh! He braked very, very aggressively there. Marchena almost got caught out by that one. I'm quite worried actually for what's going to happen potentially down this this DRS zone. But will Bats get caught out with that missing end plate? Just really seemed to struggle with rapid overs, like massive understeer through that right-hander. And Marchena seemed to almost preempt it and counter his end plate issue. So the battle of the end plates, here we go. Marchena is up past Bats. A little bit of contact though. Oh, Zlotonsky's run deep. I think he locked up and had to abandon, and he's only lost 1 place though, so good recovery from him. But Marchena suddenly is in 3rd place.
Big winner for Marchena there through that section. Oh, we had a car go deep in the back. It's Tar Heels. Tar Heels finds the wall at the Singapore Sling
safety
section.
car. Safety car for that one. He's lost his front wing, and the FIA deemed that to be a hazard to everyone's lives.
honestly surprised he could keep going. He went like directly into the barrier. Everyone should find the pits now,
Yeah.
and for the medium runners, that's a great call. It's a shame.
Fresh mediums for everyone. I think that will be the aim of the game. I agree, Ramsey. Unless your name's Joe, then you completely disagree.
Yeah, he might not have another set of mediums.
Oh no!
Another penalty for. Hey, yeah,
he's out.
That's probably it for him.
Yeah, I think that was one too many penalties to contend with. Mysterious maybe doing the same thing. I don't know, or was it just an honest mistake? But another driver caught speeding in the pit lane under safety car. That's never ideal. So Mysterious has pit. He does have the 10-second though. I wonder if he will go back into the pits again, because he's gone on the soft. So I wonder if he'll then do one lap, go back into the pit, put a medium on, and serve the 10-second. That's probably what I would do. Right, so interestingly though, Hoop, Bats and Rusty have not pit. They've stayed out for track position.
Hey, why not, I guess. You're running near the back. Well, I guess Bats was in that midfield group, but I guess you can get to the end, but man, this is going to really be tough, because to hold all these fresh runners behind you, I wonder if they change their minds as the group gets put together behind the safety car. Just don't see that strategy working out in the long run.
Yeah, there's just such a big speed difference between old or even half-worn mediums and fresh medium, and especially soft. So just, yeah, I'm not quite feeling that one. We'll see though. We'll see if Bats can hold on. I think Bats is also missing an end plate, which makes it even more interesting. But clearly backs himself big time in the defending department. So our man Jesper has been catching up with Team Red Bull. He's been speaking perhaps to not Christian Horner, because he didn't seem so receptive. And he said that apparently he forgot it was wet, which is a real shame.
And I wonder if the retirement in the pits, I don't know where the maximum amount of penalties you can get in a race is, but I wonder if he finally hit that threshold.
Oh wow, that would be tragic. Yeah,
or
he was on.
Say disqualification
he was on
if you.
Yeah, that's true. Actually,
he got another 10 seconds, so that's like 33 seconds of penalties right there.
I want to say the cap is 40 or 40 something. I don't think it's 30. So I think it was just I think it was a manual, like purposeful retirement. But that is a good question. Maybe people that have played this game way more may know. Maybe come on, there must be some bad drivers out there. How many of you have got so many penalties that you've been given a black flag? What's the threshold? Tell us. I've never done that before.
I've done many things in this game. I have not quite figured out I've not reached the threshold of disqualification.
I think the highest I've ever had, I want to say, is 13 points, I think, because I had 3 seconds and then sped into the pit lane like an idiot. I don't think I've had more than that before. Okay, so Ramsey's saying it is 30 seconds, so that would back up your theory, because I want to say that that extra 10 seconds did put him on 33 seconds, or 32? 33, because that's been 3s, isn't it? Interesting. Yeah. There's always a safety car, Morris, here, come on. Just if you play it back, just click any moment in the video and there's probably a 50% chance it's a safety car lap. But the safety car is coming in. A little bit of a shaken up order, but I mean Gordsaw's still prevailing in second place on fresh mediums, so probably looking like the favourite. Joe's going to have to be very aggressive and at least get past Gord, but in order to do so he's first of all got to get past Rusty, who he should make short work of. There's also Mysterious in P8, one to watch, going hyper aggressive. Does have the 10-second penalty and chose not to pit again. to clear it, which I was expecting him to pit onto the mediums and clear it, but each to their own. When will Bats choose to launch? Now, but I think Gord has telegraphed that pretty well because he didn't have much more time to launch. Surprisingly, though, the others didn't quite get there, didn't quite telegraph it, especially Rusty. And yeah, Joe's already getting held up. It's only been one corner. He's going to have to try and undercut, or sorry, switch through here on the inside. Yep, he does that. And now he's going to have to hang it around the outside to take P3, which he does very nicely. Good move. And Joe's back in the hunt. Bat's already dropping a place to Gordsource, probably inevitable. And Gordsource now is your race leader, with Joe just sitting behind in third place, eyeing up Bats for second.
Yeah, it was always going to be an uphill battle for Bats to get a good launch as the leader under safety car. High-speed corners, the final corner here. He's missing an end plate. He's on Warren hard, so Gord was going to get by pretty quickly.
Yeah. Yep, good driving from Joe to get past. Mysterious in the soft, he's now definitely one to watch. All over the back of Rusty, who's dropping like a stone. Probably wishes that he'd pit. A nice simple switchback, and Mysterious takes P5. And now Tar Heels is next up in line. And I will watch Joe very shortly. He's just within a second of Gord, and he should hopefully close in. He really needs to get the move done for this strategy to work at all. He's got to clear Gord. Martin is overtaking the Ghost of Noob. And Marchena and Bats. So Bats really struggling on that hard tyre. Marchena gets the move done as Joe sets the fastest lap of the race, as you'd expect on the soft tyres. Oh, Marchena runs wide. A bit of a concertina effect with a bit of emergency braking from Bats. I think Mysterious is okay, though. And yeah, Mysterious gets the move done pretty much before the start even begins. Sorry, before the straight even begins. Tar Heels and Rusty almost come together, but Tar Heels gets that move done up into P6. Now Martin, who has actually set a purple sector 1, is going to dive it down the inside. Yeah, not really enough room there, Martin. Not on this occasion. No space there. Sensibly ran to the inside. Let's jump on board with Joe, though, because he has closed up. So what do you think, Hoop? Assuming Joe gets the move done on lap 21, do you think the soft tyre can hold up to the end with actual pace to win?
I don't know. It's going to be close, and I think Joe will pull away enough to at least have a little bit of a buffer. But once we get into lap 28. Lap 27 even, and just the pace that Gord has, I still think Gord is in the more favorable position here.
Well, you've heard it now, folks. I'm inclined to agree with that assessment as well, I have to say. So I would expect Joe to get the move done on lap 21 as we approach this DRS zone. Hyper aggressive on the curb. That's beautiful from Joe through there. That is how you get a move done around here.
He's attached to the rear. Wow.
He's gonna. Yeah, Gord was always going to run him there. It's a difficult overtaking spot because the smart drivers like Gord, they know that if you dart to the inside early on that straight, it does become a very hard place to overtake, especially if you've got a naturally straight line speed geared up setup, which it does seem like Gord has. But I mean, Joe did everything right there. That's the way to do it. Just needs to try and ideally get it onto the inside. But yeah, let's see. You certainly can overtake around the outside, but you've just got to be a bit more alongside than he was. Martin all over the back of Bats on those worn hard tyres. Will he go for the late move here? He does. Nice on the brakes. I think it left loads of room around the outside. So really comfortable with that one. And up into P6.
Might try to get him back here. No, he gets back into line. Looked like he was poking the nose out.
Yeah, it was fishing. Right, back with Joe. Let's see how he attempts the move this time. A little bit further back this time. Oh! Ooh. He's okay. He's okay. Definitely advantage Gord, because I think Joe only really has maybe the next lap as his last lap to really have any significant delta on Gord's source. If not, this may actually have been the last lap. So yeah, it's going to get much more difficult for Joe now. Ghost of Noob sounds like an emo band album. Yeah, that's now a new visualization every time I say that. How is the Ghost of Noob doing? He is down in 10th, quite a few seconds adrift, but I don't actually know how the scoring works in that case, because does it count as a P10?
I think so. I believe so. So he'll pick up some points at least.
Maybe that's the ultimate strategy if you don't like Singapore. You know, if you crash out every race, just, you know, Ghost, it's all good. No, I would never condone that, by the way. That was definitely a joke. Please do not hold me to that.
Somehow I'm getting points for P14, even though I never saw the lights go out. So.
Zach Brown left the pit wall after the moment by Joe. Joe, clearly his idol is Lando. He thought, you know, I'm going to race Singapore how Lando would. What would Lando do? I mean, at least in Joe's case, it makes a lot more sense, because if you actually try to fight for the win, I mean, we all understand hitting a wall, don't we? We've all been there. It's a little bit different when you're about 20 seconds ahead in the lead. That just blew my mind. That whole race, really. Especially the crazy delta actually that the McLaren had at that stage in the season. That was even more baffling than Lando Norris almost destroying the race twice.
Yeah, we've seen that a couple times this season, though. Was it Miami that Max ran over the curb and took out a Bollard when he was 5-10 seconds up the road, early in the race at least? But
yeah, I want to say, like, I think Andretti and some of the other older drivers have always said about that. Some drivers just struggle with leading a race when you're kind of by yourself, because it's easy to lose focus and you just start deviating a little bit into a wall, or like hit a bollard, you know, just slightly miss an apex because you're almost cruising too much. But I think it depends on mentality, because some drivers, they say they prefer being in second and hunting down the lead, and then once they get the lead, they then struggle to sort of maintain a rhythm. I think most of it's experience, isn't it?
yeah, I'd say it's easier following a car that you can just kind of, I don't want to say lock in on, but you have them in your sights. It's like a target to aim towards. But then once you get there, it's like it's like the dog that finally catches its own tail. It's like, all right, now what?
I like the analogy. That's good. I definitely struggled sometimes back in the day when there were multiple tiers and I would lead races. I remember Miami, I think I had a 20-second lead and then spat on the last lap and almost DNF'd. And I think I only won by 3 seconds in the end with a broken wing. So it's certainly, yeah, you can switch off. Tar Heels is doing really well, actually. He's having a good race. Looks like Mysterious's tyres are already starting to show signs of wear and tear, and Tar Heels is shaping up a move. He's trying to get the best possible exit. Breaks the dirty air perhaps, although dirty air's not much of a thing in this game. Seems to have way more grip, way more traction than Mysterious. Very difficult to make a move down there, so sensibly backs out, because as Butler showed earlier, that can end pretty badly. Gord Source now breaking away. As you would expect, the soft tyres are towards the end of their life, let's say, and unfortunately for those soft runners it will only get worse. So I would be saying look out for Marchena. In the meantime, Tar Heels on the outside. Oh, I think he should have been given a bit more room there, but it won't matter because he's managed to hold it in there. Oh, I say that, but Mysterious kept his nose in, and now Tar Heels has been swallowed up.
We've got the elbows out. We've got the elbows out. I think Mysterious with the time penalties, he's fighting for pride, fighting for some positions on track, but also he's fighting for time, trying to finish ahead of Dr. J at this point on the timing page. So why not put up a little bit of a fight? It's a race.
Yep, love to see the action. And Martin, the big winner of this. There's a yellow flag out. Something has happened. Nope, all good. Dr. J half a second down on Rusty. I don't know if Rusty had a little moment. Both those cars look absolutely fine. So let's go back on board with Tar Heels. That 26 off 31 now. Gordsource leading the race by 3 seconds over Joe in the softs. And then Marchain, as I said earlier, I think maybe one to watch. Let's see what he can do as those soft tyres start to wear away. In theory, he could actually make up that 6-second deficit. But we've got the battle for fourth here between Martin, Mysterious and Tar Heels. Tar Heels didn't quite get the early sector 1 to match what he would have expected or wanted. So can't quite get the move done, but he's comfortably in the DRS train. So biding his time, good battery life as well. Rusty and Dr. J, they were actually about 2 tenths apart, but I think Dr. J fell back slightly through sector 1 as well. But yeah, the main fight for now is the fight for P4, and then I do expect maybe a fight for P2 towards the end of the race. But we'll see.
Something to also keep an eye out for is Marchena has a 3-second time penalty. So Martin, if he can get on with it and try to pull away from this train he's currently leading, then if he stays within that 3-second mark, he's actually on the podium.
Yeah, great shout. I sort of missed that one in all honesty, so yeah, thank you very much. I just hope we do get to see some nice wheel-to-wheel racing though between Joe and at least 1 or 2 other drivers at the end. That would be great. The last race I saw in Singapore, the deltas were very much like this, and then on the very last lap of the race, it became a huge fight with about 4 cars. So things can change really quickly around here, and when the tyres fall off, the one thing I do know, when the tyres fall off here, it is nasty, really nasty.
Yeah, I'm surprised the softs have even lasted this long. I don't know what what compound is offered at this track. I didn't bother looking, but I feel like the softs have to be like C4 or C5, and they just come apart here.
Yeah, definitely. So Mysterious on the softs is now starting to fall out of the DRS zone of Martins. We will not get DRS on this straight, I believe. Nope, so he's going to try and use battery to compensate, but yeah, this is certainly a little bit of a change in the tides between the 2 tyres here. I mean, there already was quite a big shift, but this is a bit of a moment for Mysterious. And this now presents Tar Heels with a great opportunity. I think Tar Heels is a very underrated driver. I've raced against him many times, and he's very consistent, does not make a lot of mistakes, and he does have good wheel-to-wheel instincts. I think we only ever had a bad crash once around Vegas on the very last corner of the last lap. But otherwise, I only have very good experiences, and always comes on strong, up 6. Always a guy with race pace, not so much quali pace. Likes to stay out of the way at the starts and just work his way through, bag some good points. I think that's exactly what Alpine would order here right now, with P6 and P7 on the cards, potentially, or very potentially even P4 and 5 by the end of this race. Let's see. So Tar Heels likes the outside through here. Does seem to like that, and it's working well for him, and he's up into P5. Good move.
It looks like I was just on board with Marchena, who seemed to go a little wide out of the hairpin after the bridge, and I think he's starting to struggle a bit. The mediums might be feeling a little iffy now as well.
Yeah, good spot. I mean, one driver who is absolutely okay is Gourdsauce. May have actually just cut that first corner, but I think he's looking okay. 7-second delta over second place, looking very pretty and looking good so far for this championship. Does have a little moment though on the exit there, surprisingly close to tagging the rear left into the wall. Bit of snap oversteer. Mysterious is staying within the DRS of Tar Heels. I think that's the best he's going to be able to hope for. Just hope that Tar Heels can pull him over. I think the issue is going to be, can he then maintain 1 second all the way around into the next DRS zone of Sector 2? Oh, Mysterious tagged the wall in the bridge. Oh no, he's gonna have to pit, I think. Let's have a look. Actually, do you know what? He's only missing an end plate. It looked worse than it was. I don't think he needs to pit. He's got a buffer of 11 seconds, albeit I think his overall buffer is more like, let's call it a 6.5 second buffer to Rusty. So he's kind of fighting for P7, but it does have to be said. Sorry, go on.
No, sorry to interrupt. I didn't even have a chance to curse him, give him a commentary curse, because I was about to say that if he was staying in DRS with Tar Heels, he might be able to pull that extra second to finish ahead of Bats on the timing sheet, get to that 13-second mark. And before he even had a chance to say that, he finds the wall and loses 3 seconds. So now just aiming for P7.
Yeah, commiserations to Mysterious. Good race though, overall. You know, these things happen, and it looks like, well, we expected Joe to fall away from Gord. I think that was inevitable, but he has done a great job actually of still extracting some sort of pace from that soft tyre. Marchena was not closed up in the way I actually would have expected, I'll be honest. And what that has done, because I think Marchena's a little bit slower on these mediums than perhaps one would have seen, so Martin is then actually closing in, because I think Martin is showing the medium pace that I would have expected. So, I mean, he's only got 1.5 laps left to try and make a move. You can tell he is eager to get in that DRS range. Could it just be 1 lap too few, though, for the Haas? Only time will tell. I know that there's a DRS penalty, so there's a penalty, don't get me wrong, but it would be nice to see a little bit of action, at least, to close out this race. But just to show the penalties on the screen for everyone, so it does look like Martin will comfortably get P3, don't get me wrong. I mean, Marchena, as long as he keeps his pace, he should be comfortably ahead of Tar Heels. So, all things considered, your final order probably will be this, but with Marchena and Martin switched around. But stay tuned, because anything can happen around here. It's a tough track, and there's a lot of cars with very worn tyres, it has to be said. I mean, the softs and the hards would be quite old at this point. Do you have a driver of the day so far, Hoop?
Oh, let's see. I have to take a look at some of our biggest movers. Okay. So I think I'd give it to Tar Heels. It's just showing that consistency that he usually does. One of the most consistent drivers in the league, I'd say. But up 7 spots, making his way through some traffic early on, and I think I would go to Tar Heels. Definitely not that loser down in P14. Didn't even make it to the grid.
Yep. I think, yeah, do you know what? Tar Heels. I'd give driver of the day to Tar Heels as well. I mean, Gourdsauce has driven a very good race. Really, really exceptional race. But, I mean, to gain 7 places and set great lap times, you know, that's still really impressive. They're probably joint driver of the day, really. And Gord Source has actually already crossed the line, so congratulations, Gord. You're so far ahead that we almost missed it. But great driving from Gord, as we said earlier, in the Mercedes. Takes a fantastic dominant win around Singapore for PRL, round 4. Joe takes second. Marchena will cross the line in P3, but we expect Martin to jump him, which he does. So Martin P3, Marchena P4, and then a great drive from Tyre Hills into P5. Now we've got Mysterious. He's almost crossing the line. He has 13 seconds of penalties. Will Rusty get him? There's a bit of a question here. Let's see. Bats definitely takes him. Rusty is clearly pushing. He knows what's at stake. And he does. He takes him. Rusty into P7 by 0.6 of a second. And then I believe that was the Red Bull of Dr. J coming in 9th place. So yeah, a little bit slightly drier, let's say, with action towards the end of the race, it has to be said. But overall, it was a good event. The start was certainly chaotic, and there was a lot of action towards that start and middle stages of the race. But thank you very much for watching, and we can just sort of take you through the order. How did you find that, Hoop?
Well, can't wait to go back and see what the first 5 laps were like. But fun little, a couple of good battles through the midfield here, and I'm going to take you through the finishing order.
Go for it, Hoop.
So Gord runs away with this one, 12-second gap over Joe Bidome, who finds the podium. Martin, good moves at the end to get P3. Marchena is 4th, Tar Heels 5th, Bats 6th. Rusty Oil Can gets 7th. Mysterious falls to 8th with some penalties. Dr. J finishes 9th. And Noob, the ghost of Noob, limps around to get P10. And a couple of DNFs here. Zlatansky 11th. Will Butler 12th. Theodric Moss 13th. Yours truly in 14th, Hoop BK. Death Skull 15th. And Finsick, unfortunately, starting pole, but finishing on the other end of the grid.
Yeah, unlucky driver of the day has to go to Finsick. That is devastating. I feel so sorry for him. Yeah, commiserations, Finsick. I'm sure you'll be much better next week with your luck. But anyway, that is it for today's session. And that was PRL, the Performance Racing League, round 4. That was your Singapore race. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for commenting. And Tar Heels, actually, just to round off, he has commented on his Driver of the Day performance. So Jesper has managed to just grab a word, so we'll stay on live. He said he doesn't feel great because he thinks it should have been more. Well, that's just a driver's mentality there. Gets given Driver of the Day, says it's not enough. He wanted more. Well, you know, good spirit, and I'm sure next week we can perhaps see even more from Tar Heels and everyone else. But thanks so much for staying tuned. I think round 5 is on Sunday, same time. And I hope to see you all there. And thanks a lot, Hoop, for joining me today.
Yeah, of course.
Have a great week, and goodbye.